It's Chaplain Berlanga. I'm a board-certified chaplain, and today I'm reacting to Bridgerton. Let's get right into it. I was recently asked to react to Queen Charlotte, a Bridgerton story. I was familiar with the show and the storyline, so I immediately noticed curiosity within me around how a professional chaplain would react to a fictional story outside of my typical spiritual care context. In the Netflix show Bridgerton, Queen Charlotte is portrayed as a formidable and royal presence who's protective of her circle and commands the respect of all. Queen Charlotte, a Bridgerton story, is like the prequel to the Netflix story Bridgerton, and the story basically gives her backstory and marriage to King George. That being said, I was given two clips to react to, and the first is at the beginning of their marriage, and the second is many years later. So I want to start with the first clip and then give you my reaction. Let's get right into it.
You are angry? What is wrong? What have I done? Whatever it is, I am sorry.
I've done nothing to be sorry for. I want to go to Q.
So let us go to Q.
No, but
You do not want me to go to Q,
this is your home.
and that is yours.
Yes,
I see.
you do. Good. So you're all right. I shall speak with you later.
I'm not all right. George, this is how it is to be. This is our marriage, you there and me here.
Yes,
Why?
I thought it is easier.
For whom?
What?
Easier for whom? You or me?
I am not going to debate this with
I
you.
merely want to understand. You need to at least tell.
I do not need to do anything. I decide. I have decided I am your king!
My mistake. I thought you were just George. Forgive me, Your Majesty.
That was painful, especially when she says, so this is how it's supposed to be, this is our marriage, you there and me here. What immediately comes up for me here is a term in professional chaplaincy called narrative history or story. Narrative history is our complete selves, our experiences, our language, our culture, our values, our transcendent beliefs, and they're all like strands that weave together to form a complete story. Our stories then weave together with others. That connection then becomes something new and something that gives our lives rich meaning and purpose. Our stories also serve as the lens by which we interpret the world around us, and they even form the basis of our expectations. And what I see here happening in this moment is I see two stories colliding with each other instead of weaving together. Now, this is normal and this is common within the early stages of marriage. Now, here you have Charlotte and George. They are newlyweds and their stories are now colliding with each other, and their expectations are also colliding with each other. As someone who's officiated many weddings and conducted lots of premarital counseling sessions, I can tell you that exploring expectations, and more importantly, where those expectations come from, is so important. As a spiritual care provider, I assess that there's some unmet needs in this space that's contributing to some rising energy. And that's what happens when needs get unmet. For Queen Charlotte, I assess her need is closeness and intimacy, and the fact that she said, so this is how it's supposed to be, that tells me that she had a very specific idea as to what closeness and intimacy was going to look like in her marriage, but now that's clashing with his expectations. For George, his emotional energy is anger, and I assess that this anger comes from a perceived threat. Now, that threat is not Charlotte. That threat is the fear of what would happen if people were to witness and see his illness. And we find out about that later on. And ironically, he chose to distance himself from Charlotte out of an expression of love. Now, in this moment, you have two completely different stories with strands and beliefs and cultures and experiences all colliding instead of merging together. Marriage and even relationships can be tough because when two come together, they're bringing the entirety of their stories with them. And if I was called to provide pastoral counseling in that moment, I would want to spend some time unpacking each other's expectations for marriage and digging deeper into where those expectations stem from in their stories. Clarifying expectations is so important because our expectations are like a glimpse into our stories and a glimpse into our narrative history, a glimpse into what's important to us. Let's get into the next scene.
Come, hide from the heavens with me.
Charlotte. Hi, hello.
Hello, George.
It is quiet here.
George, we have succeeded. Our son, Edward, he has married and his wife is with child.
Edward is going to be a father.
Yes. Your line will live on.
Our line.
Our line.
This clip resonated with me because it brought to mind the many caregivers that I've interacted with through the years. Caregivers give their all for their loved ones, and they're true heroes because they sacrifice so much under very difficult situations. And you know that Queen Charlotte was like a caregiver for King George. But they do it all willingly out of a profound love for their loved ones. I thought this clip masterfully captured what it looks like when two stories are woven together. When two stories weave together, something beautifully new and unique is created together over time, and this can become as familiar as home. Your history together from your youth gives you the ability to say everything you need to say with just a glance because your stories are now so deeply intertwined with each other. You have borne witness to each other. You have observed each other's lives. You have that familiarity and that sense of home together, so you can relay everything you want to say in just a glance. I also love the fact that it showed their younger selves appearing in the moment. I experienced that part of this clip as the fact that even though we change over time, who we were when we were young always resides at the core of our story. Merging stories will bring conflict, just like we saw in the clip, but these moments can also present new opportunities to explore the energy that's rising and get a glimpse into the sacred part of who we are and why these things are so important to us. If you found this video interesting and informative, please like and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for being you. Thank you for honoring me with your presence. And to my own queen, I want to say, thank you for bearing witness to my life and for merging with my story.